In the meantime, let us prayerfully remember him by the epitaph he once chose for himself. He loved, he cried, he laughed.
Nation and mourning tributes pour in following the death this morning of Anglican Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu.
We raise our hands and we say, we will be free! All of us! Black and white together!
The Arch will forever be remembered for his courage and fight for reconciliation in a divided nation. Coming to you live from Auckland Park here in Johannesburg, this is SABC News, and you're watching SA Today with me, Flola Dwaba. Thanks very much for being with us this afternoon. Let's take a look then at our leading story. All right, well, Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu has been described as the greatest Capetonian, even though he wasn't born in the city. He was loved by residents from all walks of life there. He was Archbishop of the Anglican Church in Cape Town for a decade. Tutu was a firm favourite of not only Capetonians but of the entire province. Our reporter R.I.P and video journalist Sihlem Kize are at the St. George's Cathedral in Cape Town. We'll be getting updates on the city's memorial plans. Last time that we spoke, Gabriel, you were chatting to the mayor of Cape Town, and he made the announcement that from tonight, Table Mountain will be lit up in purple up until, I think he said, until his funeral. So that's something that the city is doing in honor of the Arch. Let's talk about what the people are doing and saying at this time. I did take a look at some of your social media posts, and I see that some of the residents of Cape Town are in fact coming to the church at this time to leave handwritten notes and messages. Let's talk to that.
Flo, absolutely. The messages that we've read, I'm going to read a couple of messages to you as well, to what people have written. But I just want to chat with this Auntie Susan Lewis. Auntie Susan Lewis is what you would call a thoroughbred Capetonian. She has such a long and colourful history, originally from District 6, then of course kicked out and moved into Hanover Park for 35 years. She's back in District 6 now since 2005 and says it's been a wonderful experience, and she was just so happy because her mother, who obviously was also kicked out of District 6 when they were kids, she was able to take her mother back to District 6 for her last few years here on earth. And I asked Auntie Susan why she felt it was important to come here today to commemorate the Arch. And I'm going to hand over to her now and let her speak for herself. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Miss Lewis. You told me earlier on, let's start at the beginning. You spoke about when the Archbishop was the Dean in Joburg. Tell me how you felt. Tell me what you did then.
I've been reading the newspapers, and I've read about this man who was saying all these things and thinking, what's wrong with him? He's upsetting the apple cart, because we had apartheid in the Anglican Church. We can't deny that. And I mean, he opened our eyes. He opened our eyes to what was really happening. And and then he, as I say, the Archbishop was the person who really made me see what was really happening in our country, and then I admired him. And goodness, this man, he wasn't afraid of anybody. And what I loved was he treated people the same, whether you were an aristocrat or somebody who lived on the streets. He treated everybody the same, because to him everybody was human. This is what he always stressed. He made in the image of God. So we had no other alternative but to love, even the unlovable at times. Yeah.
Ms. Lubas, you said earlier on that you referred to him as being an angel. You referred to him as being God's angel. How did you feel this morning when you woke up and you heard the news?
I was absolutely shattered, because I didn't expect that, but he'd been ill for a while, and it was his time then to go. But as I say again, he's going to be missed by many. He is going to be missed by many, because this man was a darling. I was telling the other chap, I won't forget when we moved to Nova Park, and I belonged to the Anglican Church in Nova Park, and this morning we had a confirmation, this one morning, and as the procession came in to church, I took his hand and I kissed it, and I felt, I've done it. Yeah, and I feel for Leah. And like I say, to me, what stood out with the TRC is when this man cried. He cried, the pain that he was in, of the things that he was hearing. And as I say, he was genuine, man. And as I say again, he was God's angel. He was sent. He was sent. And I mean, remember, he was a school teacher when he started out. And the man had TV. And look, how things changed.
Auntie Susan, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Your wealth of knowledge and your memories, of course, added volumes to our broadcast today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Right.
I mean, Flo, you heard all of that. How do you top that kind of walk down memory lane? She wasn't just somebody who knew him from TV, who knew him from seeing him in the media. She has a personal history with him as an Anglican and as a Capetonian, as a South African who lived through apartheid. She said at first she didn't understand why he was saying the things he was saying and why he was upsetting, the status quo in the Anglican Church. But she says he's the one who opened her eyes to what is right. And I spoke to another lady early on, a younger lady, and she said what stood out to her was that the arch led from the front. She says she can remember being on the steps here of the cathedral when there were marches. She was at the back of those marches, obviously much younger. She was at the back of those marches. The arch was always at the front, and she said that's what stood out to her, was that he led them and he showed them the way to go. I just want to read a few messages from the book before I hand over to you. This is from Liesl Franklin and James Williams. Condolences to the family. I've always regarded him as my hero, a stalwart and a freedom fighter, a religious leader, a messenger from God. To the Archbishop Emeritus, thank you for all you did for our country and for my family. You will forever be remembered, and we will continue your work of social justice. That's another message that I've been getting from people coming here today, is that they are hoping that his work and his journey will continue, that it won't just be forgotten, and that there will be those who come after him who will continue with his work. Just a few more messages. Rest well, Arch, till we meet again, from Shiloh Williams. Rest in power, Arch, till we meet again. The father of our nation, a real people's person. Thank you for your freedom, Tata. Thank you for our freedom, Tata. He was a son of the soil. From the soil he came, and to the soil he returned. Great guy. So this is basically what we are seeing and hearing today. This is the feeling on the ground, and I'm sure that this sentiment will continue throughout the week as various sites like this will be set up for people to come and just share their condolences with the family.
Right, Abra, thank you very much for that. Abra Barbia outside the St. George's Cathedral.